Okay, so first we'll do the reading. So I'm going to put those 5 sentences on our board, and then I'll take turns asking people to practice reading them. Okay, so let's see. Nantimu, can you read number 1 for me?
Okay. Who elect Congress?
Good. Usha, can you read number 2 for me?
How many senators do we have?
Noor, can you read number 3 for me?
Where does Congress meet?
Good. Jotun, can you read number 4 for me?
What country is not of the United States?
Good. Let's see. Rafiq, can you read number 5 for me?
What is the largest state?
Good. And July, can you read number 2 for me?
How many senators do we have?
Good. Great. So again, this is what you will do for the reading part of your interview. And everyone did great today. If you were doing the reading part of your interview, everyone would have passed. Wonderful job. Now let's do the writing. So does everyone have paper and a pencil to write on?
Yep, sure.
Also, remember when we're doing our writing to keep our books closed, because just try and do it from your memory. This is all just still practice to see how you're doing while you're preparing for your writing portion.
Okay.
And then I will read each sentence 3 times. And then at the end, we'll take turns looking at the spelling of each sentence, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So number 1, the people elect Congress. The people elect Congress. The people elect Congress. Okay, the people elect Congress. Okay, number 2. We have 100 senators. We have 100 senators. We have 100 senators. And for that one, it's okay to just write the number 100. You don't have to spell it. I did have a student go for her interview yesterday, and she spelled out ONE 100, and she still passed. So if you spell it out, that's okay, but you can just write the number 100. Number 3, Congress meets in Washington, D.C. Congress meets in Washington, D.C. Congress meets in Washington, D.C. Number 4, Canada is north. Canada is north of the United States. Canada is north of the United States. Canada is north of the United States. And the very last one, number 5, Alaska is the largest state. 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 Okay. Is everyone finished?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now let's review the answers. Right. Who would like to spell number 1 for me?
Me.
Okay, Rafiq.
T H E P E O B L E E L E C T S C O N G R E S S.
Very good. The people elects Congress.
Congress. Yep.
The people elects Congress. Very good. Oh, and actually for this one, because the people
Well,
would
yep.
be like they, so we,
S. Yep.
we don't need an S on elects. Good. The people elect Congress. Yep. But if during your interview you had put an S, it would be okay. That would still be accepted, because the meaning of the sentence is still the same. Great job,
Yes.
Rafik. You passed your reading and writing test today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who would like to spell number 2?
Me, teacher.
Okay, Nancy Moo.
WEHAVE and 100 SENATOR.
We have 100 senators.
Yes,
Yes, good.
I forget.
That's okay. Again, adding an S or forgetting an S would still be accepted in your interview. But for this one, because we are talking about 100 people, then we add an S on the end. We have 100 because we have multiple, more than one. So we'll have an S.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
You're welcome. Who would like to spell number 3?
Me, teacher.
Okay, Usha.
Canada. CANADA. Is IS. North. NORTH. Of OF. THE. The. United. UNITED.
Oh, sorry. Yes, U-N-T-E-D. Uh-huh.
STATES. States.
Good. Canada is north of the United States. Very good. Thank you, Usha.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Has anyone been to Canada?
No,
Not yet.
I,
Maybe
I
end of
went,
yes.
So,
I
Rocky,
went.
you said not yet. Oh, and Usha, you went?
Yeah, I went.
You went? Great. Where did you go in Canada?
Washington State, the Seattle. I went Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
There is my cousin is there. We went to that border cross in boat. We went.
Oh, okay. So you went to Seattle in Washington State. Good. And then crossed the border. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And number 4, who would like to spell number 4?
Excuse me, teacher.
Okay, Noor.
That Canada is the north of the United States, the 4, right?
Oh, you're right. Canada is north of the United States was number 4. So would you like to spell number 3? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 was Congress meets in Washington, D.C. Would you like to spell that, Noor?
No, I'm waiting for the 5.
Okay, you want to spell 5? Okay, I'll come back to you for 5. Who would like to
Okay.
spell Congress meets in Washington, D.C.?
CONGRESS
Mhm.
MEETS INN WASH INGTON, comma, D, full stop, and C, full stop.
Good. Look, and you included the comma and the periods. Good job. Congress meets in Washington, D.C. And thank you, Joe. I realized when I texted you this, I made a mistake. I accidentally spelled it METS. That's wrong. That would be Mets. Meets, 2 E's, is correct. Thank you. I'm sorry for my mistake. So good job, Jotan.
Thank you.
Okay, Noor, and you want to spell number
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Alaska Alaska,
Mhm.
Alaska, space, is, space, the, space, LARGEST, large, states. Alaska is the large states.
Good. So for this one, because we're just talking about one
One
state,
no S.
so
No
yeah,
S.
this one we don't need an S. Good.
Yeah, I know read the S because I already said to you S.
That's okay. So yes, when we're talking about just one thing, like one state, Alaska, largest state.
State.
So we don't need an S.
Okay.
Same with the sentence when we talk about California. Oh, well, that one doesn't have state in it. But when we're just talking about one state, we don't need an S. But if we were talking about 2, 3, or when we're talking about all of the United States, all 50 states, like for number 4, Canada is north of the United States. That's when we do add an S.
Okay.
Or same with like senators. If we are talking about all 100 senators, we add an S. But if we're only talking about one senator,
No S.
we don't need an S. Good.
Okay.
Great job, everyone.
Teacher, one doubt.
Yes?
Second answer, we have 100 senators.
Mm-hmm.
We write in words or number?
So for this one, both is okay. If you write the number, that some people think that's the easiest way to do it. I just had a student yesterday who is in my Friday class. She called me because she had her interview on Friday. And so she said for writing, she wrote number 2. She had to read how many senators do we have, and then she had to write we have 100 senators. So she spelled out we have 100 senators, and she still passed. It is still correct. Even if you spell out 100, that is still correct, and they accepted it. They thought it was nice she spelled out 100 because it's okay to just write the number. So both would be accepted.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. So if you spell out 100, that is not wrong. If you spelled out 50, then they would not accept it. But if you spell out 100, they would still accept it.
Okay.
We just practice with the number, just writing the number, because that can be easier for people than spelling out 100.
Yeah.
And both are correct. Good question. Thanks, Usha.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Teacher.
Nope. Okay, great. Okay, and morning, Pate Club. Good morning, Larva.
Morning.
We were just
I come late today.
That's okay. We were just practicing some reading and writing. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to keep working on chapter 8 in our citizenship textbooks. For chapter 8, you were talking about Congress. And now because in class we have students from different states, we have Noor in New York and Usha, who you'll be taking your test in Texas. So sometimes some of these answers will be different for different students when we're talking about our senators and our representatives. Okay, let's see. Let's review some of the 100 questions we talked about last week. So what are the two parts of the U.S. Congress?
Democratic
In the
and
house.
Democratic and Republican.
So those
House
are
and
the
Representative.
political parties, but these are the two parts of Congress.
The Senate and House of Representatives.
House of Representatives. Yep.
Good, yes. So this one would be the Senate and the House of
House of
Representatives.
Representatives.
Okay, let me get my. Okay. So yes, and how many branches of government do we have?
Three.
Three.
Three. Good. So when we talk about Congress, we're talking about the legislative branch.
Legislative.
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 Good. Legislative. So they are the ones we say, who makes federal laws?
Congress.
Congress. So the legislative or Congress, they make federal laws. So they write the laws. And then the two parts of Congress are the Senate and the House.
House of Representatives.
House of Representatives. Let's review. We read through some of this last week, but let's just practice these 100 questions. So we elect a U.S. senator for how many years?
6
years.
Good. 6 years. Good. And how many U.S. senators are there?
100.
100.
Good, 100. So each state, so in one state, how many senators are there?
Two.
Two. Good. So each state, no matter how many people live in that state, each state has two. Good. So now this answer is people of Wisconsin. Who is one of your state's U.S. senators? And for
Ron
Wisconsin,
Johnson.
we say?
Ron Johnson.
Ron Johnson. Baldwin.
Or Tammy Baldwin. Good. So these are the senators for Wisconsin. What about Noor? Who is one of your state's U.S. senators?
The right now is the Chuck Schumer.
Oh, Chuck Schumer. Good. Chuck Schumer. And he is the majority leader of the Senate. Good. And what about for Usha? Who's one of your U.S.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Really good. Great job. Okay. And who does a U.S. senator represent?
All
All
people of
people of the state.
Good. All people of the
Of the
state.
state.
So when you become a United States citizen, when one of your senators is up for election, so every 6 years, they have to run again. The people have to vote for them again, or they can vote for a new person. Like we were saying, here in Wisconsin, Ron Johnson is up for election next year, 2022. So if in Wisconsin, you are a US citizen by November 2022, you can choose if you want Ron Johnson to stay as a senator, or you can choose the other senator who will run against them, and it will be a competition, a battle. Good. Okay, and then now the House of Representatives. We read through this. Oh, I think we were talking about page 131, about why some states have more representatives than other states.
Because they have more people.
So, Rafiq, you said because they have more people, and
Yep.
Noor, what were you saying?
They have more people.
Mm-hmm. Because they have more people, because of, we call that, does anyone remember what we call when we're
State
Population?
population.
State population.
good, state
They have more
population. Very good. So we can see here on page 131, it's sort of hard to see in this picture, but the state of New York has almost 20 million people. That's a lot of people. And we can see they have, so they have 20, looks like 27 representatives. But for representatives, you don't vote for all, if like for Noor, who lives in New York, you would not vote for every 27 representatives. You only vote for the representative for your area.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, teacher.
Does anyone living in Wisconsin, do you remember how many representatives we have here?
One.
One.
Well, we have one for Milwaukee, but how many total in the state?
I don't know.
How many total estate?
We have 8 representatives.
Oh,
So our state population is less than big states like New York, California. Texas also has a lot of representatives because they have more people. But Wisconsin is a little bit smaller, so we only have 8 representatives, but we only vote for one of those representatives. Okay, so now let's look at page 132. Who would like to read for me?
Me.
Rafiq, you can read.
The leader of the House Representative is called the Speaker.
Mhm.
What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now?
Good. So what is her name?
Nancy
Pelosi.
Good. Nancy Pelosi. And what are the 2 major political parties in the United States?
Democratic.
Democratic and Republican.
Good. We have the Democratic
And Republican.
Republican. Does anyone know, is Nancy Pelosi, she a Democrat or is she a Republican?
Okay.
Democrat.
Democratic.
Good. And why is the leader of the House a Democrat? Does anyone know why the leader right now is a Democrat?
I don't know.
Because the Democrat is won on the president election, maybe.
Oh, that's a good, so you're almost correct. You're right on target. It's not because of the president, it's because in the House and how many How many voting members are in the House of
More.
Representatives?
435.
Good, 435. So more than half of that 435, the majority
Democracy.
of people are Democrats. So that means more Democrats, we call them seats. They won more seats in the House of Representatives. So that is why the Speaker of the House is a Democrat. And how many years do representatives serve for?
2 years.
Yes, 2 years.
2 years. So that means every 2 years, a lot of people change. So again, in 2022, everyone in the House of Representatives will have to, again, run for re-election. So when someone wins, when someone runs, when they want to become a representative or a senator, we say they are, and if they've already run before, we say they're up for re-election. So that means they need to win again. They need more people to vote for them than to vote for the other person. So every 2 years, citizens 18 and older all across the United States can vote for the 435 representatives. So if Democrats again in 2022 win more seats than Republicans, Nancy Pelosi will stay the Speaker of the House. But what happens if more Republicans win than Democrats? Will Nancy Pelosi stay the Speaker?
No.
No, you're right, Joe. No. So right now, our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, she will stay the Speaker if in 2022, Democrats win more seats in the House than Republicans. But if in 2022, more Republicans win the House and they have the majority, then the Speaker will become, they'll have to choose a new Speaker and the Speaker will be Republican. So that is why the Speaker of the House is either a Democrat if there's more Democrats, or if they are a Republican if there's more Republicans. Like, does anyone remember the name of the Speaker before Nancy Pelosi?
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan, good. And he was a Republican. But then in 2018, so 4 years ago, or about 3 years ago, it's only 2021. So in 2018, more Democrats won. So we switched from a Republican speaker to a Democratic speaker. Does anyone have any questions about this?
No.
Let's see. So again, we elect a U.S. Oops, I forgot a word. We elect a U.S. representative for how many years?
2 years.
Yes.
2 years.
2 years.
And the House of Representatives has how many voting members?
435.
435.
35.
Good. 435. 435. So they have a lot more people in the house. As we can see in this picture, that room is full of people. And for Milwaukee, this is our representative. What is her name?
More.
Good. Gwen Moore. Nora, what is the name of your U.S. representative?
Claudia Tenney.
Claudia, what's her last name?
Tenney, Tenney. Tenney.
Tennay. Tenney. Good. Thank you. So that's,
EY.
oh, EY? Tenney?
Yes, ma'am.
And Usha, who's your representative?
Vaughn Taylor.
Oh,
Vaughn Taylor.
Vaughn Taylor. Good. So even though there's like for New York, you have 27. Texas has a lot of representatives. Wisconsin has 8. We still only vote for one of them. And we vote for them every 2 years. You'll see them. And just like how we vote for president, what month do we vote for our president in?
November.
November. Good. So just like how we vote for president in November, we also vote for our U.S. representative in November. But how many years does a president serve for?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years. So for example, next November 2022, we will all United States citizens 18 and older will be voting for their representative. But will we be voting for a president in November 2022?
24.
Yes.
Yeah, so not 2022. We'll vote
2024.
for a president in November
24.
2024.
24.
So when you become a citizen, what you will see, and we'll talk about this more later in the semester, is there are many times to vote. Even though voting for president happens every 4 years, you want to vote more than just every 4 years. There are many times and many leaders you can vote for in between the president elections. So it's important to be thinking about when are the different times to vote, because sometimes some of these smaller elections are also just as important. If we vote, so every 2 years we vote for our representatives. Maybe in 2022 here in Wisconsin, we'll be voting for a senator. Also in 2022, we'll be voting for our governor. So there's many people, wait, let me see. When did he win? Yeah, voting for a governor. No, he won in 2018. Sorry, don't listen to me. Governors serve for 6 years, like a senator. We don't vote for our governor again for 2 more years. But there are many people to vote for in lots of different elections. Even if there's not a president, it's still important and good to be going out there and voting because there are many leaders you can pick. Okay, let's look. So why do some states have more representatives than other states?
Because of the state's population.
Because of state population? Or how else can we say that? Yeah. Because some states have more people. Good. And what is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives?
Nancy
Pelosi.
Pelosi.
Good. Nancy Pelosi. Good. Okay, and now let's look at, we're going to do those activities in the back of chapter 8. Just one moment, I'll get that. So we're going to look at page 133.
Okay.
133. We're going to look at what does it mean? So on one column, we have the words voting member,
Oh, amazing.
speaker, represent, and the very last one, the two parts of Congress. Oops. And then on the other side of the page, we have
Work for
work for, representatives,
the Senate or the House.
the Senate and the House, and leader of the House.
Oh, the House.
Good.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, Noor?
The number one is the voting members. We have an
Oh.
X.
Thank you, Noor.
You're welcome.
You are correct. Thank you for correcting my mistake. Yes, voting members. Good. And so on each, so we're going to match each of these 1 through 4 with one of these answers on the right. Okay? So number 1, which one do you think it matches with for voting members?
Number 3.
Representative.
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 Good. It's representative. So number 1, like in the 100 question, it asks how many voting members are there in the House of Representatives? So also in the House, there are some extra members from like Puerto Rico, a territory of the United States, but they cannot vote on US laws. So they're a member, but they are not a voting member. That's why we say voting members. Okay, what about number 2, speaker? What does speaker match with?
Leader of the House.
Leader of the House.
Good. Leader of the House. Very good. What about number 3, represent?
Work for.
Work for.
Good. Like, who do senators represent?
All people of
All
For the
people
United
of
States.
the state.
All people of the state.
Good. So that means our senators work for the people of the state. And the last one, the two parts of Congress are?
The Senate and
And the House.
Good. The Senate and the House. Number 4. Great job. Okay, now let's look at the yes or no. So let me type these up. So I'll have students take turn reading these, and then you'll say yes if they are correct, or you will say no if they are not correct. So let's do, okay. Okay, so we'll just start with the first six. Let's see. Nantimu, can you read number 1 for me?
Each state elect leader for Congress.
And is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Not people.
This one is a yes. So each
Yeah.
state in the United States, we all elect leaders for Congress.
He literally came in out of nowhere.
Hi, Mohammed Nur Kareem.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you? So number 1 would be yes. Each state does elect leaders for Congress. There is one place in the United States that actually they don't have leaders, but they're not a state. Does anyone know what that is?
No.
It's the capital of the United States. What's the capital of the United States?
Washington.
Washington, D.C.
Good. So Washington, D.C. is not a part of a state. It's its own little city. So they do not elect senators that work for Washington, D.C., even though all the senators and Congress and representatives and presidents meet there, they can vote for president, but they don't have senators to represent Washington, D.C., and they don't have representatives to represent Washington, D.C. So you may hear, if you listen in the news, Washington, D.C. wants to be the 51st state, because right now they're not counted as a state. So they can vote for president, but they don't have a leader. So that's been a big thing in the news the past few years, is Washington, D.C. wants to become a state. But every state gets to vote for leaders in Congress. Okay, let's see. Rafiq, can you read number 2?
There are 3 parts of Congress.
What do people think? Yes or no?
No. No.
No, no.
No.
No, good. How many parts of Congress are there?
2.
Good. There are 2 parts, so this should be 2. Let's see. Pateklo, will you read number 3?
We have 100 senators.
Yes.
And what is that? Is that yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, yes. Let's see. Noor, can you read number 4?
We elect a U.S. senator for 2 years is no.
No, good. How many years do we elect a U.S. senator for?
For 6 years.
6 years, good. And then Mohammed Nur Kareem, could you read number 5?
Give me a second real quick. I'll be right there. Number 5.
Uh-huh.
We elect a U.S. representative for 6 years.
And that is yes or no?
I would
No.
say no on that one.
No, good.
No.
How many years do we elect a representative for?
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
Okay. Usha, will you read number 6?
Senators represent all people living in their state.
No. Yes. No.
I hear no, I hear yes.
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 Yes, senators
Yes.
represent all
Yes.
the people living in their state.
Yes.
So number 6 is yes. Okay, let's look at, okay, now we'll just do the last few quickly.
Yes.
Sorry, that's number 8. Okay, let's see. Larbar, can you read number 7 for me?
The leader of the house is called the president.
Is that yes or no?
No.
No.
No, good. What do we call the leader of the house?
Speaker.
Good, we call the leader of the house the speaker.
Speaker. Yeah.
The house.
Good. Okay, let's see. July, will you read number 8 for me?
The House has 435 voting members. Yes.
Good, yes, that is correct. Okay, then number 9. Oops. See. Okay, let's have Usha, will you read number 9 for me?
All states have the same number of senators. Yes.
Yes. Number 9 is yes. And how many senators does each state have?
2.
2. Good. And the very last one, Nantimu, can you read the last one for me?
Yes, teacher. All states have the same number of representatives. No.
No.
No, that is correct. And why do some states have more representatives than other states?
Population.
Because of the population.
Population.
Because of state population.
Because some states have more people.
Yes, or some states have more people. Good job, everyone.